Hi, it's Damo here. As you know, Mark and I do our best to tread very carefully and respectfully around issues of well-being and mental health. And in this episode, we do talk about eating disorders, body image, alcohol, addiction, and acceptance. So, mind how you go. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and recent survivor of seasonal flu, Mark.
Hi, Damo.
Hi. A chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, sports, conspiracy, and how the world is unravelling before our very eyes. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness, then our work here is done. This isn't a special as such.
No,
but it's
nothing special about it.
No, probably not much special about the other specials, to be honest. But I've got this episode is one for the lads.
Yeah, let's just fall straight into.
I put lads with a Z.
Yeah,
at the end
because you're straight.
Yeah, but interesting, our demographic is actually quite split. The
Yeah.
gender split, which I'm quite proud of, actually.
Well, it was.
I feel
more
we're appealing to
the world.
Yeah, which is nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're laddie. It's probably about as laddie as it's going to get.
I think this is tongue-in-cheek laddie, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. No,
right.
it is. It is.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, half of our listeners.
We've lost half of them.
I'm not a lad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, but I think, yeah, you're right.
It's under a generic heading.
It's amazing how much applies to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing how many ladies have kind of gone, oh, that strength, I'm running, and maybe I should be, lifting some weights.
Yeah.
It's
nice
made
use of ladies there after last week, me going, we'll be very careful of our language.
Yeah. We're so woke, it's untrue now, aren't we?
Yeah. How are you doing anyway? I'm going to get that in early every time. And one other thing I'm going to get in.
Yeah.
I said last week when you always go like, hello or welcome to Mark, and then you have like a humorous little thing like...
You look like you've got something written down.
I have got something written down. I've changed since I've known you. I looked at the Google Drive documents that you send across, which are like meticulous and brilliant and lovely. And when you do your opening spiel, you actually put intro to Damo, intro in brackets, hello, ... So when you say hello to me with the little, you actually write down that I will say hello ...
Well,
back.
I give you the space. That's how professional I am. Yeah.
I thought that was is interesting. I thought I might just be mute today. That would throw you off.
Yeah. But, it's true. When you don't do that, I'm literally lost.
Yeah. But that's planning.
Okay, what have you got? Come on then.
I've got loads. I got too much, but I didn't even have this written down until I listened to you then. Unraveling.
Right. Yeah.
Were you just saying about the world unraveling? 'Tis for sure, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
snowballing. I'm using the phrase snowballing. We're down the mountain. No one can stop that snowball.
I don't know. I've got that feeling so much this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I have watched The Social Dilemma.
Okay. We're going to pick on that later? Or
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Which it didn't necessarily tell me anything I didn't know. It just, I guess, filled a few gaps and joined a few things up and made me think slightly differently about a few things. So, and I guess, all the stuff in America and here, and I don't know. It's one of those things. If you start looking at the news probably a little bit more often than one normally does.
Yeah.
You start to kind of. It doesn't help the overthinkers, does it?
No,
of this world.
It doesn't. But I suppose the thing that keeps going through my mind is pre-COVID or pre-Brexit, we would have the news and they would come on and they would talk about some floods in the Philippines, or they would talk about an iron factory closing in South Wales, or they would talk about some riots in the Ukraine. And the world just sort of bumbled along with that, and then there'd be a humorous thing about a dog on a skateboard at the end, and that was the news. Yeah, it used to be the news. It used to be
a little bit of here, a little bit of there.
Yeah,
a little bit of
there's a little bit of, there might be a bit of terrorism, but it isn't too bad, and it will go away. And now it's like there's nothing else around. It's just either COVID, and then occasionally something like Californian wildfires will be chucked in as like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
absolute devastation of a massive
California's
state.
still burning, by the way.
Yeah. But anyway, back to someone having flu.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And then the president gets it, and then that's just...
the whole world shuts down. Yeah.
Two of the biggest news items coming together at once.
I don't think we should go into detail, because I think it has been mentioned on social media, Trump getting COVID. I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, I think there's been at least one tweet about it.
Just to put it out there, because I know it's going to happen. Yes, he does take vitamin D, and the fact that he takes vitamin D didn't protect him, but it'll
help
ensure
him get through.
He gets through, because if you think he's 74, he's moderately obese.
Yes,
he's very orange. So if you put all those...
Hold on, is that just your...
It just doesn't look
healthy.
Is that
actually relevant?
It doesn't look healthy to
all
me.
the other things felt that are relevant to your argument.
Yeah. No, I just don't know where the orange comes from.
Sounds like you've been objective just for a minute there, and then you slipped in there. God, he's orange.
No, I don't know whether that's... It's just a comment, really, whether that's sunbeds or... it doesn't look natural.
No, it looks like it's wiped on badly, doesn't it?
Okay. But anyway... So two things. He does take vitamin D. I'm pleased he takes vitamin D. Not going to get into a big discussion about this because this is too big and everyone in the world's got a view. But the one thing I'm going to say is just I'm not going to get myself personally entering into conversations around any negativity about the fact that somebody is poorly. It doesn't need comment as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
End of.
Amen.
If I was poorly. Amen. Okay.
So coming up in this Ladzzz episode, we've got in warm up and stretch, we're going to look at I do this, I kind of write things in here and then literally think about them properly as I read them out as we're recording. But I've put football has gone to the dogs, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Okay.
Work-life ballet, our relationship with alcohol. Why have I put that? Is that right? We're on the right episode.
Yeah. This is the beer episode.
Of course.
Both of us non-drinkers.
Right. I need more coffee in me. And Drop and Give Me 20, we're talking about the word that you can't say.
Yeah. Test, toss, roan.
So you're alive. You pulled through, thankfully.
Yeah.
Your illness.
Yeah.
You survived seasonal flu.
I did.
Do you want to go into any detail?
It wasn't flu, was it? It's just a heavy cold. People get heavy colds and sore throats.
Though.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the thing that everybody's got and everyone's gone off and got a test about because it's so horrendous.
Yeah, I got the test because I've got underlying issues.
You're not orange.
I'm not orange, but I've got a very dodgy heart. Speaking of which, I don't want to go off on a tangent because that would just too late. So,
is your heart okay? Don't drop any bombs. I can't.
My heart isn't brilliant at the moment. It isn't brilliant. But part of the reason is that it's a vascular condition. So when you get out of breath because you can't breathe, it has repercussions.
You must have struggled then this week.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's been okay. It's been okay. But the point I wanted to make was, in terms of targeting advertising on Instagram, I get a lot of the equivalent of junk mail. So I get a lot of things around prostate cancer because...
Your age demo, right?
Age demo. My dad died of it. I've had some scans for it, and it's like Instagram know where I am and know which hospitals I'm going into regularly. And do you know what I mean? They put two and two together. So yeah, the demographic fits. And also because in terms of my heart situation, it's going to be really obvious that I'm going to either be looking up stuff on heart or, it's going to happen. It's no surprise. And the British Heart Foundation put an advert out this week to me, advertising, I think it's either a weekly or a monthly draw where you can win £1,000 and the profits go to British Heart Foundation, which is fine. It's a really good organisation, one I'm really, I would back and do give some money to. And one of the lines in the advert was, why not have a flutter?
Oh, God.
Now, I think they've done it for that reason. But atrial flutter, which is one of my conditions... It's not something to laugh about. No, but it's my specific condition, which basically has mean lots of surgery in 2 years.
I don't think they've written 20 different lines and targeted them to the conditions you've actually got. I don't think that literally, which you can do.
Yeah.
I just don't think they would have gone. I hope they haven't gone that far because that's a little bit.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think it's targeted for me. What I'm saying is, has someone gone tongue in cheek? Will use a term that people that have this know.
It just seems so inappropriate.
It does seem so inappropriate.
It's a good job you've got a sense of humour, right?
It is. If they haven't put it in, and this is the Major Heart Foundation, the Major Heart Charity, and they've mentioned flutter, which is a serious condition, you can die from it.
I still found that funny.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just interesting.
Yeah,
it was just interesting. So I'm sort of tempted to go, is this really funny? Which I think it is, but some people lying in a hospital bed getting this advert might not see it.
It's a brave one, isn't it? Let's see how this lands.
Yeah.
It's either it's really clever or really stupid, isn't it? It's kind of...
I took it as really clever. I liked it, but it did make me think, that is my condition.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people are like writing a stern letter as we speak, aren't they?
Where were we? I just...
you're well.
I'm well. I'm fine.
You're
I'm
here.
good. Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
Just a quick bookmarks. I did look up the sexual antics of dolphins. I don't think they're that naughty.
Shh.
Unless I'd look. Yeah.
Have you not watched the videos?
I didn't. Well, I read
with people.
What? Oh, come on.
I just said, look. What did you
go?
Bloody Disney Channel. Donnie the dolphin. It's real life.
I just put in. I think I literally put in the same.
Smiley dolphins. Miami dolphins.
How to please a dolphin.
You just put in Miami dolphins and watch just hours of American football.
Dolphin films with happy endings.
Sort of Free Willy with dolphins.
Well, we're talking about willies.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an interesting thing about their willies, which was
their
how massive they are and how kind of
they hook
flexible. Yeah, they kind of go in there and
dogs do that as well.
And again, this thing you don't know what to believe, but it said they're pretty much aroused. The male dolphins are pretty much aroused all the time.
Yeah.
Then immediately thought, does that help them in the water or slow them down or help as a kind of keel?
They have those big yachts, isn't it, where they have the two sort of things at the side.
Yeah, but he's got one right down the middle, I'd imagine, right? I couldn't find any pictures. Boy, did I look.
A Laddzz special, and Damo's looking for.
But if he's got one on all the time, he's not going to be. They fly through the water. They can't, unless it's just the female ones we see doing all the.
The ones at SeaWorld don't have them, do they?
Oh no, they wouldn't let them.
No,
scare the kids, wouldn't it?
Take their eye out.
Yeah. Anyway, from what I read, they didn't seem that bad. They like a bit, and they probably do it all year round for fun, as well as actually.
All right. Well, you need
to send me. You need to educate me.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm happy that you just think dolphins are happy, and that's why they're smiling all the time.
I've kissed a dolphin.
Move on.
I've got a picture as well. Her name was Dot.
Move on.
Okay. So I looked up also. Computers be truly random. I mentioned that thing and I thought I'm well out of my depth here. I looked it up and found an excerpt from Professor of Computer Science at MIT. It's got MIT on it. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. It's this guy called Steve Ward. I don't know how much this was all attributed to him, but I'm going to give him the credit anyway. But I found a little excerpt which I'd like to read to you now. Your eyes just glazed over.
You just mentioned IT, even if it was with part of a 3-letter description. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
He says, there are ways that machines can generate truly random numbers, and the importance of true randomness is not to be underestimated. If you go to an online poker site, for example, and you know the algorithm and seed, you can write a program that will predict the cards that are going to be dealt. Truly random numbers make such reverse engineering impossible. There are devices that generate numbers that claim to be truly random. They rely on unpredictable processes like thermal or atmospheric noise, rather than human-defined patterns. The results might still be slightly biased towards higher numbers or even numbers, but they are not generated by deterministic algorithm, which I liked. You can point it to something that is far, as random as it could be, like the weather or something like that. But almost by deciding where that's been
there's a
pointed. Bias. Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess as long as there's human interaction, you could argue there's a bias, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, how random are dice when you throw dice, really?
Yeah, if you're choosing the weather or the atmospheric noise to be the predeterminant of random, it isn't random because you've chosen that. Yeah. Interesting there, though, that you said there's a propensity. I'm using the word propensity. Just
it's a nice word.
Yeah, thank you. Word of the day. There's another word of the day. I'll bring it out in a minute. Sorry, contrite. Showing remorse. Where were we? Oh yeah, no. So the point I was going to say is you read out there that there was a bias towards even numbers, which takes us back to my alarms.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what I didn't again look. I think like most things, as I always say, you can drill down into that specifically. But I don't know why. I'd be drawn to higher numbers. I guess maybe if atmospheric pressure is in the high numbers.
You're out of your depth now,
Totally.
Yeah.
Should I move on?
Yeah, move on. You're just making stuff up.
I've got an apology.
Okay.
About painting bodies, because I was so adamant that you shouldn't be here right now because you painted your body, and all those 400 people that did paint their body in that picture should be dead. So it's my apology for jumping on a myth, I guess, an urban myth.
I don't think it deserves an apology. I think it just made me worried.
Because people went away going, "Oh, yeah, he could have died." You know, I don't know how.
But you quoted James Bond as your source.
Well, it was exactly that, and I found
he isn't real.
Seriously, sharp. Yeah, I mean but that was the thing. That's where it came, and that stuck in my head. And you think, how many other things have we got stuck in our head? For us, undeniable facts, and you will literally fight someone to the death. Going, we're back to who's right and who's wrong, and how much you feel about either side. But I was absolutely adamant that
you were, and you were skeptical when I was saying that everyone had survived, or that everybody hadn't got.
Yeah, then I started looking at
the photo.
I got one. I still can't find you on there. Maybe we'll have to do the competition.
The one you put.
Should we do a competition? If someone could, it was like spot the ball, isn't it? If someone puts across.
I tell you what, it's more like Where's Willie? This is a lad special, isn't it? Already.
Oh God!
I tell you what,
I didn't mean that.
We're going to have to explain spot the ball to our American.
Oh come on, they have it in America.
They don't have to spot the ball.
Of course they do.
They don't have soccer.
No, you can do it. But they have balls.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll allude to in that other game that they play that they call football that clearly isn't football.
Yeah.
Sorry, America, but you're wrong.
I was going to be real. I've got a section on how into America I am at the moment, and you just.
It's more like rugby than football, isn't it?
Yeah, but I want to say something positive.
I mean, I know that you think what, I don't know, 1% of the game will actually kick it, right?
What are we talking about now? American football.
NFL.
Yeah.
There isn't hardly any kicking. It's all throwing, catching, and running.
Yeah. So the term football is a misnomer. Yeah, I get that.
American handball.
No, handball's a separate sport, isn't it?
Anyway.
Okay. I'm going to rescue American.
I like NFL.
Yeah.
I do.
Back to the Miami Dolphins. Who was the guy, the quarterback? Dan Marino. There we go.
Arguably the greatest of all time.
Going back to the question, that would be fun.
Is there a question?
Yeah. You said about...
Painting bodies, I've got a... Sorry.
Yeah, but you said about people trying to spot... I think you put... Did you put something on Insta story? With the picture, the high-resolution picture of the...
It wasn't
the mass nudity. Was that on an Insta story?
Yeah, so the picture, the actual final picture, I couldn't find a high res of.
No,
I could only find a high res of almost like one of the production team's shots. But you know where you are in it. So I thought if we put the picture up and then people put on Insta and then literally put a cross on their Insta story and tagged us in it of where they think you are.
Bearing in mind about
spot the balls.
Yeah, only about 20% of people listening have ever seen me. But it's still worth a go, isn't it?
Well, that's the whole point. Spot the ball, isn't it? You don't know where the ball is.
Okay. All right.
If you knew where it is, it wouldn't be a game, would it? Yeah. And you're not entering it.
Is there a prize? We should give prizes.
There is a prize, yeah.
Okay.
The prize is going to be a bag of coffee.
Okay, liking this.
You want to put some of your granola in there?
Okay.
Because that's really nice. All right. If it goes to America, we might have to get it sent pretty quick, but...
No, the granola lasts 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, is it? Oh, cool.
I'm making a new batch. this evening. So yeah, granola and coffee for the winners, and we'll put it up on Instagram.
Yeah, that's enough, isn't it?
That's
what do people want? Goodness sake. Anyway, I found another excerpt about the painting bodies.
Okay.
So another common fear of body paint is whether a head-to-toe coat can cause a person to suffocate. This likely comes from the this definitely comes from the James Bond movie Goldfinger. In 1964, when the film came out, the villain Goldfinger kills character Jill Masterson, played by Shirley Eaton, by covering her in gold paint, causing her death by suffocation. An urban legend spread that Eaton actually died on set from asphyxiation from the same gold paint. However, this is physically impossible, as Eaton is alive and well.
Okay. Where does she live?
She's 83. She lives in Edgware.
Oh, bless.
You read my notes, haven't you?
I research stuff like a master of science.
You got one on you today, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm unbeatable today.
So we don't breathe through our skin. We breathe through our noses and mouths. And all that needed was a idiot at the end of it. Therefore, covering your entire body in paint won't cause you to suffocate no matter what Goldfinger does. So there we go. I thought it was, wow.
Legend blown.
bullets from me you've put in my notes. Will you stop writing in my notes? I am like Anchorman. I'm just going to read whatever's put in front of me.
Am I meant to have my own notes? I've got too many. I'm like.
Would you like to add?
I'm like the pick and mix of. I don't know where.
I just realised I've got a competition to do.
Yeah.
It's the A word.
I'll tell you what.
Admin comes to mind.
Work out how much that's going to cost.
What to say? Then we won't do it. Then we'll decide if we want to do it or not.
Depends how much we value people. Yeah, we'll send you a free prize, but you need to pay for it.
Yeah.
No, sent a package yesterday. Very small parcel. Yeah, just a small envelope. Guess how much? Next day delivery.
£1.50.
12 quid. 12 quid.
No.
All right, I'll say it again. 12 quid.
Yeah. What happened to my voice then?
12 quid. And for Americans listeners, pounds. But yeah, £12. And the interesting thing was, I was in the post office and I said, I need this next day delivery, please. And she went, Monday? And I went,
No,
Saturday. And she went,
that's £12.
She went, Monday's cheaper. And I'm thinking, because that's in 3 days' time. And she was like,
honestly.
She was trying to do me a favour because it was an extra 3 quid for a Saturday.
Talk about the world unravelling.
£12.
What is going on? It wasn't heavy.
No. Well, the atmosphere was after that. After that bombshell.
Oh, it was blue, was it?
Just smashed the screen.
Did you lose your temper?
I did. I said, sod mindfulness.
I was going to say.
I own shares in Royal Mail. I should have some preferential treatment.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, so in one way, you're happy with the fact that
it'll show my dividend.
People are getting absolutely ripped.
Yeah, 12 quid. I could have bloody driven there.
Well, yeah. Coffee's kicked in.
Yeah. Is that your coffee? Because we had your coffee today, didn't you?
We did have.
Just do a little bit of a sales pitch on it. Is this the first time
it's not my style,
Go on.
So the coffee from the first episode, which was my obviously failed attempt at getting them on board as a sponsor.
Yeah.
Blown by you.
Yeah.
But I'm over that now. My company branded them, so we've worked with them for a while. We know them very well, and we buy lots of their coffee. And a few years ago, we created our own coffee with them.
Okay.
So literally did a whole cupping session and worked out what we wanted and branded it, and it's out there so you can buy it. Okay. So
the winners are going to get
so they'll be getting
the I'm Fine coffee, as we're now going to call it.
Well, no, I'm not doing another label. So the coffee is called Deadline Coffee.
Okay. I'm Fine Deadline. Yeah. Okay.
So
that's the prize.
No, we'll do that.
Okay.
That'd be good. Did you have any bullets?
I've put loads in, haven't I? I don't want to. I'm
rambling.
You have
as well. Oh, I can see what's coming. It's a bit ranty, isn't it? I knew you were on one. I could sense it when you walked in your shorts. Again.
Well, I
thought, he's back.
Yeah. You said it was civvies last week, and I just thought, no,
he's sporty.
The legs are coming out again. No, you keep me on track because I think I'll just.
That was it. Those are my bookmarks and apologies, unless you've got any more, and we can move on to the guts of our Ladzzz episode.
Let's go.
My point about football gone to the dogs. I switched the football on, and it was literally 5 minutes before the VR incident with Eric Dyer of Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham, who went up for the ball, had his back to the ball. The defender heads the ball into the back of his arm, so he has no idea that where the ball is, and obviously they got a penalty from it. Most of the games now are talking about stupid incidents like that.
Well, it's all to the penalties, point of, isn't it? It's all penalties now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you mentioned that actually the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, and today,
in relation to the crowd not being there, and there's so many more goals. Yeah,
well,
all the goals are generated
by rule has changed,
by the penalties. Yeah. Have they just done that rule so they create more goals? But it's not the goals people want to see. But it's great for pundits because they've got no end of content to talk about. But it's not what fans of football want to be talking about, listening to. Is a stupid rule essentially ruining the game. And there's almost, unless you're Graham Souness, who just kind of sits on the fence all the time like me, which is frustrating.
It was interesting today because I do a fantasy football team with a few mates, and I suddenly thought, if there's penalties, I need penalty takers in my team. So I looked to put Jorginho from Chelsea in because they were playing the early match. And for one reason and another, I didn't get around to doing it. He scores 2 penalties in the last 10 minutes.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so, penalties, been more penalties than ever. But they're now thinking of bringing a subjective element into the actual rule. So there'll be a change to the law, but there'll be some degree of
But I don't think they do that halfway through, or partly way through
They're
a
talking
season.
about it just
because it's so rubbish.
It's so rubbish, yeah.
What's frustrating is now in the VAR, the referee is going to the screen, which has been on this pretty much gathering dust on the side of the pitch for the last 12 months or however long it's been going. Now they're going to the screen and still making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
But those decisions are based on the rules, so you can't.
So they're not stupid.
They're not. Yes, I mean it's just a stupid law that is upheld to the letter.
Yeah.
So,
but it's interesting in terms of, we were talking just then about America, and I think a lot of the stuff, because of what's happened over there politically over the last few months, some of the NFL matches are now hardly being watched. Am I right in this?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I think television audiences.
Maybe they can write in and tell us.
Yeah, I'll check this in the thing and then issue my apology in the next one. I think there's massive decline in the audience.
Right.
And I think I used the term the other day about opposition to America not attacking through nuclear bombs, but letting America eat itself by that sort of. And I think that's the same thing with sport, because last 10, 15, 20 years in this country, we've seen the highest level of sport, of football, become, massive, ridiculous amounts of money. Mm-hmm. But people forget that it wasn't that long ago that the first division was almost collapsing, that crowds were really low, that there was football hooligans, that nobody was really interested in football. Mm-hmm. The rebranding has got it. And now is football eating itself? Because they were saying,
arguably you don't have as many of the negative things. I mean, it still exists. There's still racism in the game.
There's less hooliganism with no crowds.
Yes. Who knows what they're doing at home? Yeah. In the back gardens. I don't know. Maybe they're still getting practice in. I don't know. But, it's generally been a lot better, hasn't it? I think it has.
It has, but it show what a sort of tenuous hold it has in terms of you and I, who've admitted that football was a major part of our life.
Yeah.
The passion has definitely gone. Now, well, for me,
I think we talked about it last time. The crowd has had the lack of crowd has had a lot to do with that.
But I wonder whether people are actually almost viewing football. So there's this.
We don't think it's a money, because there's too much money in.
Well, I still think there's a money thing, that there's things like lower league clubs are going to go to the wall because there's no crowds, but there's still people playing in a fairly low level of football in this country who are getting £2,000 a week. So I don't really feel
it's like the gulf is still there.
Yeah.
Between the Prem at the top and the third?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, it'd be Division 1, but it'd be the third tier, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But they're still a lot worse off proportionally, but better off than where they were. Because the money must have filtered down, and they get into televised FA Cup games.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's going to be some money for them. Probably a lot more money than there ever was. But the gulf is so big, they're almost better off. I mean, like now, they're really struggling. They haven't got the reserves, the money reserve to survive.
I think that's the point I'm making, more than the gap between the haves and the have-nots, is that your average Joe footballer who could be on £1,000, £2,000 a week, it becomes a lot more stark when the people that would have gone to watch your average Joe footballer wouldn't mind that they're on that sort of money, because they're providing the passion for our Saturday afternoons.
Yeah.
And you have a loyalty to a club and you accept that that's market forces. What I'm saying is, if there's loads of people this winter going to be unemployed or going to be severely restricted financially, when the football industry comes like, we're really struggling, we know you're really struggling, but you're still struggling on £2,000 a week. Do you know what I mean? It's that, and I see the clubs are going to be in a real quandary about this, and they're going, but it's like, I feel my connection is going from not physically being in the ground, not physically seeing those people. Yeah. It now just becomes a result.
I guess most of the emotion is going into the discussion about these almost stupid incidents.
Yeah.
That's almost where our kind of energy is going, isn't it? Even our kind of the stresses that build up in us, you go to the football and that's where everyone shouts and jumps up and down. And
and those are your memories, aren't you? That's your connection with a club, not reading text on your phone that says they've lost again. Yeah,
not just going there and watching a game and going, great, bravo.
Yeah.
You're investing in that, aren't you, emotionally? And it can relieve stress as much as make you more stressed, I guess. But that's the relationship with football and sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be up and down.
It's a living, breathing thing.
Sorry, going back to your Eric Dyer, I thought you were going to reference him leaving the pitch. Did you hear about that?
No.
He left the pitch.
Well, about this incident?
No. I think in the next match to go to the toilet.
What, halfway through a game?
Yeah, I think Jose Mourinho followed him down. I didn't read it up, I just heard.
Have you added that bit in?
No.
Well, they both went to the toilet.
I think Jose was just like, I don't know.
What, worried about him?
Yeah, just.
Did you actually go to the loo?
Yeah. I don't know if it was.
Which one, do you know?
I know that was.
Not which toilet.
One or
Presumably
two.
the home.
Maybe that's why Jose went.
Yeah.
Wet wipes. I don't know.
It's all about the detail, isn't it?
But he did. But that's probably the story, really.
Not like Gary Lineker.
Man goes to toilet.
Yeah. Not like Gary Lineker who just does it on the pitch.
Oh, don't start go at bloody Gary Lineker.
You don't like him? Oh,
I don't
your face. I don't know.
No, I don't mind him. I don't mind him at all. The only thing that I'm finding a little bit, Gary Lineker has taken on a mantle of Politico, hasn't he?
Yes,
because of his position. And I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree. And I know he's doing a lot of stuff around promotion of positivity around refugees at the moment, and is evidently going to take a couple into his house.
Yes, they are, and he got a lot of stick for that, didn't he? But
not giving him stick at all. I'm not being negative.
No, he was for that.
But it was interesting that he made some comment about Donald Trump paying $750 tax over a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And there's two things about this. One is that the tax system as such isn't necessarily, a lot of Trump is invested in property. So it isn't necessarily that you can just go, oh, you're a multimillionaire and you haven't paid tax. There's more to it than just that.
It's sat there as assets rather than cash in the bank.
But it is what it is.
Money.
And in some ways, whatever's happened, there's whether it's corruption, whether it's avoidance, whatever. But Gary Lineker felt the need to comment on that. But a couple of people have brought up the fact that Gary Lineker has invested in a property consortium or a property development or something in the Bahamas that comes under, I think it isn't tax avoidance, isn't it? There's two phrases. There's one...
Tax evasion and
avoidance. Tax evasion and avoidance, that's the two difference. But it's one or two things that I think one or two people who sign up as being, proudly British and proudly doing the right thing. People like Paula Radcliffe, who's now living in Monaco as a tax haven. Right. Mo Farah, who's no longer...
Most of the F1 drivers are there.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I know you put some stuff up on social sometimes and I'm like, okay, just people, we have different...
You're very pro-millionaires, aren't you?
No. Well, I don't have any objection to people having wealth.
No. Amen.
That wasn't it. I was going to expound a little bit. What I think is so difficult, and it's so easy to jump on people for having too much money. But of course, too much can just be more than that individual. You've got more money than me, therefore you've got too much. You don't need it. But of course, you don't need to have £1 billion.
No.
If you are a billionaire, doesn't mean you have £1 billion in the bank. Let's get that right for starters. Like you just said, you could have lots of property and you could be worth £1 billion. I'm sure you'd have a few million in the bank that you could get or hold of straight away. But most of it is tied up, or it's in shares or stocks. It's of value rather than pounds and pence in the bank. I've got no objection to anyone working hard and earning it and doing what the hell they want with it.
Yeah.
If my accountant came to me and said, Damo, there is a better way of doing this. There's a more efficient way of doing this. Or there are these government grants or government schemes available to help you offset your corp tax. Just give you money towards whatever. Of course, I'd take that, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
If someone said they can reduce my tax bill, I'm going to look into
wouldn't
it.
You? Yeah.
And what I'm not going to do is start creating shell companies in the Netherlands and arsing around with that.
Or creating films. Did you see that? There was a tax thing, there's a zero tax on films, wasn't it? And loads of people were making films that were making massive losses, but it was like a tax.
It only seems to be the people with more money than God who do that, or have the ability to make more money than God.
Yeah.
I shouldn't bring him into it, should I?
No.
Or her. But that's where I start to feel really uneasy. It's like you've got plenty. You can give a lot of it away and do some really good things with it, and you still be okay. Because generally, they're not the people going to the effort. So if someone said to me, "You can do that," you got to spend 3 or 4 months of your life setting all these companies up, and be like, I honestly can't be bothered.
Yeah.
But if someone else said, "I'll go away and do it," you don't have to worry about it, and I can afford to pay someone to go and do that for me. I am then in the camp where go, you know what? Don't bother. I don't need to, and 2, I'm just literally paying you for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And
I know what you mean.
Making sense. I think there's a point where people don't have to, but they do.
Yeah.
To just literally tear the arse out of the situation they're in. So someone else is arguably going to suffer, whether that's the country, whether that's individuals, or then it gets, hold on a minute, you're just becoming a dick now.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying you get to that, you earn this amount of money, then you start doing that and you become a dick. It's not that easy. But I'm all for people working hard, doing what they want with the money. If they want to sit on it, like Cyril Sneer from the Raccoons, cartoon reference.
Okay.
80s, 90s cartoon reference. Someone who just literally bathes in their money.
Yeah.
Do that. I don't really care. Do what you want. Give it all away. I don't really care what you do with it.
I mean,
I'd rather people do good with it, of course, or give people jobs, help other people create wealth for themselves, help people better themselves and move on. Happy days.
But you're saying that if somebody just tries to pay someone to find a way that their income grows and that extra income doesn't actually take you anywhere. You've got 65 million, but by doing this, you can have 68.
No, exactly.
Is it really worth?
And even if you go, well, I'm going to give that 68. Well, no, there's a different way of doing that, because someone is getting screwed in order for you, i.e. the government or the NHS, whenever your taxes are going, roads, kids, whatever. Yeah, someone's getting screwed for you. So that would be the wrong thing to do, to screw someone to go and give it to good causes. That's just that is plain wrong. But why not set up a trust where money's just generating, and that goes into a good. Well, if you're going to make that much effort to avoid paying what arguably you should be paying, if you're contributing to the country that gives you all the things, gives you the freedom to make that wealth in the first place, then just play your part. There's an element of playing your part. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, I do, and that's what I was going to say on the micro level. I've shifted a little bit from this in terms that this came across a little while ago. It's the typical, someone does some building work for you, and it's like, that'll be 600 quid, 500 for cash. Yeah. And that's just part of society, and that's what happens, and you've saved yourself 100 quid. But what you've actually done, and this is being really high morals, I'm not, I'm going to the extreme now.
Dragged your soapbox out.
Yeah. What is actually happening is someone saying to you, if you give me cash and it doesn't have to go through my books, I do not have to pay tax on that £500. And as a reward for you saving me a third or a quarter of that £500, I will pay you some of the money I'm saving so that you benefit and I benefit. Exactly the line you just gave, but someone's always going to miss out. Yeah. And I've had it from my PT work. Sometimes people will go, I'll pay you cash.
How much for cash?
Yeah, people don't try and knock me down. I am fairly strict about the payment structure. Well, I have about 8 different payment structures, but you're at the top end.
I was going to say.
But no, it's the point that I'm thinking to myself, I think sometimes people would look to give you cash thinking, I'm doing you a little favour, it doesn't have to go through the books. Even I don't expect anything back, but here you go. And in the same way, the builder would go, I'm going to knock some off. But it's also the situation, just going back to the bit that I'm saying about why I would stand on my moral soapbox on this, is that over the last 6 years, I've had 6 operations, 5 of them been on the National Health, and 4 of those 5 have been for heart or brain. And I know how much they would have costed to be done privately. Yeah. The last one was £11,000 if I'd gone private. So even putting those together, there's 50 grand that I've got out of National Health. Yeah. And I'm sort of thinking, I'm going to need operations in the future. Can I morally go, I'm not going to say about all these 30 quids and 40 quids and 50 quids I'm getting, and then moan that, there's a big waiting list. So I think, and that's fine because I'm comfortable enough financially to be moral. Yeah. And I know that isn't going to be the case for everybody.
If you decide to go private, you're still paying your taxes anyway, whether you're going to benefit from that or not. Yeah. You're still putting in for the benefit of, for the greater good. Yeah. Aren't you?
And I know it's just being a little bit.
And of course, it depends which way your moral compass points here. Yeah. But I think most rational people would go, that's a good thing to do. Yeah. I'd like to think. Yeah. Of course, there's the exception everywhere.
I've had 6 bars of chocolate given to me in the last month by clients, not by you, obviously, but by other clients, as I like to call them, the valued clients. And
I'll give you anything but my respect and love. Yeah. Is that not enough?
Priceless. But I haven't declared those, obviously, to the tax people. So, I'm even there.
Well, you have now.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Bribery Act here? Are they bribes? Or
no, I think
do you have to declare that as gifts?
You are meant to declare gifts, strictly in the letter of the law.
Of what?
I don't know what value, but there was something, I think, around teachers having to declare the gifts they get at end of term.
Or the apple on the desk at the end of the
I don't think that happens so often now.
It's probably not an apple anymore.
No, I think it's Prosecco generally.
Yeah.
I can remember
A-class drugs.
Being at one of my daughter's infant school at one stage, and it was end of term, and I saw this child literally coming into the playground with a 4-pack of cider for the teacher. It was just, they were about 6.
Good old Bristol.
Carrying 4 cans of Thatchers.
Good.
Okay, that started at football, but I think we might have just diverged a bit.
Well, I'm quite happy with that because that's probably the first time we've talked about wealth.
Okay.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I got an opinion across.
You did?
Yeah. Well, it's sketchy ground, isn't it? Because we haven't kind of talked about our kind of political persuasions. And I come from a family where we didn't really talk about it. They're often the things that can ruin friendships, ruin relationships, can't they? You know, wealth.
Religion.
Yeah. Politics, wealth, religion can be hugely divisive.
Yeah.
Can't they?
Yeah.
I haven't kind of grown up with talking about that too much. I think because of that, I think my parents are quite aware of the hot water you can get into by nailing your political colours to the mast. And I think it's even more prevalent now, especially when we're talking about, we've kind of mentioned the social dilemma, and it was really good because it was echoing what we were saying about you're either right or you're wrong. And there is no discussion or no room for discussion in the middle, which is terrifying. And I think that's what it's become now. Those, you know, you're red or you're blue in America and here. You know, you believe in a higher power or not. Yeah, broadly. Yeah. There's lots of other things in between, or you have faith or you don't. Whatever that is, that faith may be in. And I think you can have a relationship with anybody and then drop any one of those things in, and you could literally turn that relationship upside down.
There's stuff about that on Twitter, isn't it? Someone like tweeting something and saying, I've just lost 80 followers because I've made this statement.
Yeah. Or whether they used, you know, the BLM hashtag, or you know, they're either doing it and not really thinking about what they're doing and going, that feels like it's a good movement. And not quite realise the power of that.
I was going to post something today on an Instagram story, and I didn't. And I don't think it's contentious, but because it alluded to race, I'm thinking, no, I think I might discuss it either today or in the next podcast, because I think if I have the ability to explain the point I'm trying to make, I can get away with. But I think if it becomes as blunt as text, or as blunt as a tweet, or as blunt as a photograph that goes this, and someone looks at it and goes and misinterprets what I'm saying, I'm trying to be in it very, very positive, but because there might be a slight sort of nuance that people don't get, I don't want someone coming back to me and going, I think we can. Your view?
Because we'll be talking about acceptance in the next one, so I think that could tie in quite nicely. Okay. You sent me something today, which I challenged you on. Because of that, I didn't have the background. Yeah. So as a statement, I thought, that's bold. Yeah. You know, really? Yeah. I and then you gave me the context, and I went, okay.
But I loved our discussion on that, by the way, that I posted something, your response was really, and mine was yes. Debate over. I'm right again. Exactly.
But yeah, we can talk about the next one, because I think it's actually challenged my view on that particular subject.
Well, let's hold that for the next one. So football's done. Football's over.
Football's done. But wealth. I haven't got around politics, but I think I can naturally steer that into booze.
Go on then, seamlessly.
I'm trying to, in that mainly because of the point I've stopped drinking.
Yep. How long? Is that the number of hours you're counting on your hand? What time was breakfast? Yeah. Just while you're doing that, when I was poorly, skipping through daytime TV, looking for some light-hearted relief and some content for this podcast. Yeah. At 4:25, there was an advert for Gordon's Gin. 4:25 in the afternoon, they're advertising Gordon's Gin. Not right. That doesn't normally happen.
Well, I think that's kind of, we're back to that, you know, if you're going to drink, you know, what's time?
Okay. How long have you been driving?
No, if you think people are doing shifts, right? Some people do night shifts. So they're 4:00 in the afternoon. Yeah. Could be 9:00 at night. It does, you know, time's relative, isn't it? That doesn't matter. I've always thought that. It's like, oh, you know, they've just got up, they've just cracked open a can of Stella. What an absolute savage. And you're like, what's the difference between drinking it at 7:00 in the morning and 11:00 at night? Or you stay up all night. It's all right. Here we go. So it's okay to go out on a big bender, night out, and still be drinking at 6:00 in the morning. You're a legend. Yeah, this is the Ladzzz stuff for you. You're a legend if you're drinking at 6:00 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Everyone will clap you. Bravo! What a lad! Whoa, get in there, son. Yeah. But if I was to get up at 6,
you're reverting to type, aren't you?
If I was to get up at 6 and crack on it, you'd be like, you got a problem. You absolute, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You would. So it's, again, but it's perceptions. It's,
I just felt it was taking advantage of the situation. That's what I'm saying.
What's the situation?
Life at the moment. It's product placing. I know why they're doing it. It just felt uncomfortable. It's like it's $4.25. Get the gin out.
Yeah, they've started. The Christmas advertising is the toy stuff is kicking in now. Whether people have noticed or not, it hasn't got jingle bells on it yet, but it won't.
Jingle bell, jingle bells.
Oh, nice. Oh god, yeah.
I found a doormat the other day for my dad.
Yeah,
and I wanted one that says welcome or nothing. It didn't have to be a doormat. And
so you wanted a new doormat? Sorry, you found a? Sorry,
I wanted a doormat.
Okay.
He'd used a carpet sample as a doormat.
Oh, right. I was trying to work out what your dad... Sorry, yeah, I'm with you now.
And I thought, no, I'll treat him to doormat. And it said something like, come on in and have a gin or something. And it's like, no, I just want to say, like, wipe your feet, or... It didn't need to have gin on it. That's the point. I'm not anti-gin.
Well, I was trying to bring this kind of seamlessly on, and you're helping, thanks. But, things like that, some sign right above my laptop here, which we've already referenced, the Prosecco, how classy people get wasted. I wasn't going to kind of talk about this. It's become almost a very accepted to drink, and to drink irresponsibly.
Yeah,
has become, and this is a bit like your tweet, which was your thing you sent me earlier, which we'll talk about in the next one. But I think it's about the framing of this.
Okay.
So the way drink and the attitude to drinking heavily, drinking regularly, how it's framed can make it acceptable. Or not. It's all about context. It's what you're saying, and what you're saying depending on who you're sending it to. If you're sending it to someone who has a problem with alcohol, then they're going to take it very differently to someone who thinks, quite joyful. They don't drink a lot, but they like a couple of glasses of wine on a Friday night. And you think of all the memes and stuff that goes around, mainly on social, about, just one glass of wine, and there's that classic gif of that woman with a huge wine glass just pouring wine all over her face. Funny, but you step back and have a different, reframe that. Yeah. Not funny at all. It's like me laughing at your heart flutter. It's not funny, but the way you're telling it that's my excuse. The way you're telling it was funny, so I can. So well, let's just. So I think it can be dangerous, but I think we're talking about not drinking. That's where I was. I was trying to work out how.
I wanted to know how long, because I didn't know you'd stopped drinking.
You're not?
No.
Even though I hadn't turned up to training without a can.
Can you put that gin down and bench press? No, I didn't know you'd stopped.
Did you not?
No.
What, until I just told you?
No, recently you alluded to it.
Okay.
We had some discussions about, because I don't know how long I've not drunk for, 3 years? I'm not sure. And how long have you not drunk for?
9 months.
Okay. And what was your reason?
My main reason was that I think I was starting to lean on it.
Okay. I didn't know that either.
No. What?
The reason I'm reaching for my phone, this is going to come under the acceptance.
Okay.
I mentioned Sam Harris.
Yes.
Like, so in love with those podcasts. People, seriously, I think they should.
They're good. Are you subscribing now? You're paying, so
so
I get the fade out. I don't get the. They've been okay. They've been good.
I paid. I paid for podcasts. I like the fact that people would pay for podcasts rather than just get it for free. But that's me for you. No, I think Sam Harris podcasts.
Hold on a minute.
Should be played at school.
Oh yeah, because they're
just. Well, anyway, he was talking to somebody around addiction, and I thought this was a great. And I don't want to go any further on this. I think when we come to our acceptance one in our next podcast, this will be another bit of stuff to talk about. But this guy defined addiction as continued use despite adverse consequences.
Yeah,
and that summed it up for me, because the adverse consequences can be different for different people, which is exactly your point about the way that alcohol is marketed.
Yeah.
It can be something that is seen as a funny card or a funny meme or whatever.
Yeah, it is.
And someone else is looking at that and thinking, shit, there's another trigger, there's another...
Yeah. Or not realising, thinking, oh, it's a bit of a laugh.
Everybody's doing it.
And...
Well, what was your leaning? You mentioned leaning. You don't have to say addiction, I guess.
No, but kind of what you just said made me think about that. And I think addiction always sounds like a horrible word, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. You say addiction, you think of people kind of huddled up in a corner, just shaking, or either coming off, or, do you know what I mean?
You think the more extreme end, I guess, yeah.
I guess you do. It's not a nice sounding word either.
No.
I was getting to the point where I started to cut back on it, because I noticed I was probably doing it a bit more. But it was that, if feeling low or feeling, down, and then feeling that was the thing that was making you feel better. Mm-hmm. But then you suddenly realise that you're into the kind of the ritualistic nature of that, where it's more of a it's not making me feel any better.
But it's a habit. That's where you go.
It's not making my mood any better. I'm just thinking it's almost like a comfort.
Yeah.
And you can find, and I've realised that you can find comfort in eating badly. So that's self-punishment. Be careful what I say here, because there's obviously trigger words in here.
Yeah.
That we'll have to put a warning out
about.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think I've had a relationship with, not a serious one, but there's been some things about food and about drink that I felt but never realised what they were until maybe the last couple of years, talking about some things, hearing more stuff, reading about it, listening to other people's point of views, and the pieces start to come together. You go, hold on, that. Well, I'm a little bit of that, and I've got a little bit of, or I know why people treat their bodies badly by eating, or eating badly, putting the wrong things in their mouth, or drinking, or putting too much of that, or the wrong things, the wrong combinations of those things in. So, but I found myself kind of going, well, I've had the classic, I've had a tough week. I mean, they're all the cliches, aren't they? I feel knackered, I'm run down. Oh, there's a couple of beers in the fridge. And then you kind of, you smash 2 in, and you're like, I should have got, and then you are thinking, do I nip out, it's raining, do I nip out in the car and get, then you start, what am I thinking? One, I've just been drinking, so why, you know what I mean? And you start to go, hold on, why is that thought even entering my head? Or I've got to make sure I get more beers in so I don't even have the thought about going out and driving my, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when those things start to kind of kick in. Again, we're touching on the acceptance, when you suddenly accept that and let these things in and realise that they are real, I guess, and you're feeling them, and you're feeling them for arguably the wrong reasons. But at the same time, in January, I just, almost one that I just literally went off it as well. There's that kind of, I realised that, and the taste of it went. Yeah. And I wasn't getting any enjoyment from it. And I was just like, what am I doing? That's just, so for maybe about 2 months, I just kind of, I couldn't even, the idea of drinking, the idea of it made me feel a bit ill. Yeah. And I haven't, and I've not missed it. And, I feel better for it. But I think where I was kind of going to go with it, and we're talking about, I guess, labels, even kind of talking, your political kind of persuasions or something. I think I found that even when you say you're not drinking, it feels like you're making a statement to people who are drinking. Yeah. And it suddenly becomes so much of a head game.
To justify as well.
And again, back to the acceptance, all the things we're going to talk about, where I've accepted the fact I'm not going to drink for my own reasons. I'm comfortable with that. Just by me saying I'm not drinking.
Can be taken as a judgment.
Yeah. Or, if I was a woman, I'd get, are you pregnant? Yeah. I mean, that's just absolutely bonkers, isn't it? I mean, I've seen that happen, and I've, women have said this happens a lot, so that isn't good. But I think there's that, if you're not, what's wrong with you? Yeah. 2, is everything all right?
Yeah. Okay, explain the reason why you're not drinking, rather than explain the reason why you are.
Yeah. I don't go, I never go, why are you? Yeah. Or if they know you're not drinking and you're going, and they're saying, I probably do drink too much, and you go, well, why do you think you do? They suddenly think you're on your high horse. Yeah. All right, non-drinker in the room, giving it all the, look how much weight I've lost, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm not. I was just... Yeah,
I just don't drink. I have a mate that when I go to his house, he knows I don't drink, and he'll go, just have one beer. And I go, I don't drink. And he'll go...
Just one hit, Mark. Just one hit.
No, but it's like... And it's almost like he's saying, for my sake, have one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What, because does he feel awkward?
Yeah, but what's happened now...
Well, it's because he won't have a drink and he doesn't like you sitting there having a glass of orange juice or something.
Yeah, so but now with the zero alcohol lagers and beers that have come that are such quality.
Yeah, they're good. They're getting better, it seems.
They're getting better. And so sometimes I'll be out at his house and he's drinking those. Far less calories, and he was, if he was doing weight loss or something,
it's a weird one though, isn't it? Where you can't have anything that, where is this? Is this the symbolism? Is this the habitual nature of drinking? Is this the kind of, almost like the cigarette thing where it's actually, you're doing it because the fact it's in your hand, the action of drinking it, how it looks.
Well, your answer to that is staring us in the face when you and I went to Munich with the Ladzzz.
Was that our first trip, but none of us were drinking?
No, everyone was drinking. I was drinking in Munich.
Were you?
Yeah. We had about 15 pints on the first night, didn't we?
We said we'll at the airport.
We said we'd go easy.
We get to the airport and go for which I love. We go for a drink. Yeah. We're not even out of the airport. We've just arrived in. Yeah. No, let's stay here a bit more and not experience the city we've just landed in.
Taxi for Munich? Why would we go to Munich when we've got this airport bar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were. There was one, the other reason I said it, there's one trip where I wasn't drinking for health reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I probably wasn't then. It was only Munich where I drank. No, what I'm thinking about is when we all decided to go to a football match. This is, again, we say this, everything. This is seamless.
Yeah, it's like we've written it.
Yeah. So for the listeners, group of 6, 7, 8 of us in Munich. And I think we're just typical 40, 50 something lads that drink too much, look at a couple of things like a museum, go on a bike ride.
I think we're quite cultured really for a...
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. The bike ride was good.
Oh yeah, we do lots of interesting.
And then we decided to go to a football match, found a sort of local team, didn't we? went to the station.
Ingolstadt, wasn't it? We went to watch Ingolstadt.
Yeah. And they sort of have off licenses in the railway station, don't they? And we got this case of beer. And
we took a while choosing it from what I can remember.
Yeah, and we all know who chose it. And anyway, got on the train, and I think you and I were drinking then, so
we all were, yeah.
And as it went on, getting merrier and merrier, and wasn't it a German guy that pointed out to us?
Someone was sat next to a local.
Yeah, as we got more and more leery that it was alcohol-free lager.
Yeah,
and we were well gone, weren't we? It was.
Yeah.
And so that's the bit about the ritualistic, isn't it? In that circumstances, whatever we've been putting into our mouth, would have had that effect to a degree.
Yeah, or placebo.
Yeah. We thought we were getting drunk because we're drinking beer on a train.
We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that guy realised that we're having too much of a good time.
For zero alcohol.
and yeah, it was an odd one.
And that is one of the complaints, if you like, that if you do go out as a non-drinker, it's like, I hope you're not going to bring a downer on the party.
Yeah. I think the line is I'm feeling better for it. So I guess, the health reasons are good. It's keeping... The other thing, which I didn't say, was it's actually kind of keeping my mind clearer.
Okay.
So I remember the first time I did it, I noticed after about 3 or 4 weeks, and I don't know all these things because one of our clients used to be drink aware, so we used to do lots of videos about the benefit of not drinking. Yeah. So I know all the all the information, and it's not until you stop doing it, and even you go, well, I only have a drink every week, or a pint every week, or every couple of weeks, but you don't realise that if you can cut it out completely, it takes about 3 or 4 weeks before what I found your whole physiology changes. Your sleep is better, your mind is clearer.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the year, I guess going into lockdown, and I've got to keep a bit of a straight head here. Yeah. So that was probably the other reason, which I didn't mention. And that has helped. Because it's amazing if you have one beer, how kind of cloudy you get. Yeah. I don't want to feel shit.
This isn't you and I promoting not drinking. This is you and I saying how it was for us and what we've seen.
No, absolutely.
I think when it comes down to maybe more in-depth discussions around addiction, that's something we will cover. And I think give it the full... seriousness that it needs.
I think that we've already touched on it the other week, where a little bit about body image, me buying kind of clothes to cover up certain things, and you could argue alcohol's the same. It covers up stuff. It covers up insecurity. You think it does, almost like, the invisibility cloak, or back to that. But I think for me, I feel the benefit of bringing it up here is not the actual act of it itself, of either physically feeling good and wearing clothes that you couldn't wear before, or not drinking and feeling the benefit of not drinking, but it is the acceptance of others and the opinion of others, which is for me one of the most powerful things. And it's not until you stop doing these things, or until you turn things on their head, where you realize actually the kind of pigeonhole you're in, how people see you and how your identity is formed based on the things you wear, the behaviors you have. That for me has been one of the most interesting things. And then
other people's reaction to you.
Yeah, like I said, if you're not drinking, what's wrong with you? Kind of, what about when we go away? What are you going to do? I'll come away and have a laugh, because I have come away before with us lot and not had a drink and had a really good weekend and not missed. So it is possible to do. Yeah. But I think it's the kind of expectation, perception from other people, and it's only when you don't do it you realise actually how much the impact and expectation of other people is kind of affecting your own behaviour or perpetuating a behaviour that you don't actually want to stay in. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's hard to get out if people aren't supportive of that. If you go on thinking of not drinking, what do you want to do that for? It could be little things, a flippant comment like that. Someone go, why do you want to give up booze for? Well, we have a right laugh when we go out drinking. Don't be a bore. But those things do happen in different forms. They can be one word, 2 words, a couple of sentences. It can be a look. Yeah. it can be a comment to someone else, it doesn't have to be to you, but you hear people talking, I had a great time, you know.
Yeah, I think it has to be.
And it all goes in, doesn't it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it is more direct than that sometimes. Because I didn't give up because I think I had any sort of problem with alcohol at all. I gave up as a control thing. And I do have struggles with control that sometimes my extreme nature means that control for me has to be total. It can't be just have a couple of drinks here and there. If I say I don't drink, I don't drink.
Yeah.
It isn't anything to do with alcohol. It's to do with my need to control elements of myself. But the interesting thing is that when people were asking, my stock phrase was, I gave up when I was on medication after surgery, and they advised that I didn't drink, which was true, but it wasn't like, don't drink. It's like, maybe not have too much on these tablets. And then when that didn't wash, I said, I'm trying to be as good a sprinter as I can. And I think by drinking, it might affect my running by 1/10 of a second. And I'm going into this long scientific reason. And I stopped drinking because I didn't want to drink. But I couldn't.
You felt you had to justify it.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, you and your sprinting, you're so obsessive about that you won't eat. Your sprinting is so obsessive that you won't drink. And it was like, yeah, that's my reason. That's my excuse. And somehow that felt safer because they go, oh, yeah.
Did you feel you had to get in before someone else did?
Yeah, I had to come, and I use that with everyone. Isn't it? I don't know if it makes any difference at all.
Or you might as well go out the leaflet.
Yeah.
Here's the reason I'm not drinking, just so I don't have to keep repeating myself to everybody else.
But it's exactly as you say. I then don't go to them. Can you explain to me why you drink the amount you do? There's no need to justify that. I don't need to know. What you do with your life is fine. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? There's the kind of the paradox of it, isn't it? So, you know, it's actually bad for you. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably plenty of studies going, a little bit is, well, yeah. But overall, I think everyone can agree. Everyone can agree. There's a reason why you need to be 18 or 21 to go and buy it.
Yeah, yeah.
There is, isn't there? It's a health reason, because it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't do it, you know,
you're the
socially,
one having to say, yeah.
You're not wrong, but you looked at sideways.
I wonder if it's an age thing. I've got other people who I know who are sort of edging towards that situation, and whether it is
not
just
drinking,
whether it is just having had enough of it. Not even people that have any problem, just going, I'm not really into it anymore. I don't really want to have.
Well, you realise it's always been a bit crap.
Yeah, I can remember one of the lads, we were in Munich, and he came up to, this is about 4:00, and we came to some dodgy. Did we go to dodgy clubs in Munich? I don't think we do. Budapest was. No,
of course we did.
Oh yeah,
it's the thing we do.
Oh, that industrial estate. Yeah,
that was
dodgy. Lost. Oh yeah, so this was about 4 a.m, queuing for a kebab, and one of our group came up to me and he went, I've had about 15 to 16 pints tonight. And he went, I don't know why I've done it. And it's that typical sort of 4:00 a.m, having a few regrets as the hangover kicks in. And I went, you've had a good time. It's fine. You know, and he went, well, back in the day, I would get drunk to either get laid, to get into a fight, or to pass out. Do you know what I mean? There was
all of those things. Yeah. If it was a good night.
Yeah. But in a way, I don't mean there was a reason, but there was an end result. You know, you go to a club and you'd be drunk, and then something would happen as a result of you being drunk. But the point he was making to me is, I've now drunk 15 pints because they were there. It hasn't taken me anywhere. It's just taken me to a hangover and a kebab, which I'm dribbling down my front. So
it's called Cult Fabrik in Munich,
where we went.
Yeah, it's still there. I thought it was brilliant, that place. Although, actually, little story, we'd all had a little bit, hadn't we? And everyone got in the. You said you were drinking in Munich.
Oh yeah, no, I had. Sorry.
So you were so drunk, I can't remember. Everyone pissed off in taxis and left me completely on my own. Yeah. And they did that thing where you suddenly go, Damo, you're in a foreign country. You literally have no idea where you are. You got here because you don't worry about how you get there.
No,
you don't do the kind of the Liam Neeson in Taken, kind of with his balaclava and remembering how you got there.
Yeah.
And I just had that moment where I go, I've got to get my head straight here. And I did that thing where I tried to sober myself up just by thinking really hard. And then I picked up my phone and I had to do the one eye looking at my phone because I couldn't use two eyes looking at it. And then I had to go through. I had to find my email, find the name of the hotel. Yeah. And I just stood there, and no one called me. I bet everyone got back to the hotel and didn't even realise I wasn't there.
Well, I'm not going to say who you sharing. You were sharing a room with someone though, weren't you?
Yeah.
They're the person most likely to have realised.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention his name. He knows who he is.
He knows who he is. He's had to live with it.
And he's probably not even aware of this story. But I eventually got back and you think, well, that could have ended differently, couldn't it? Booze. That's what got me in that situation.
Yeah. And
I wasn't sharp.
And seven friends that can give a fuck about you. That's the other thing.
What's the moral of this?
Get better friends and don't drink.
It's not a bad moral. The only thing I miss, and it comes back to our weekends, when I don't miss the kind of getting to the airport and drinking, really. I don't miss any of that. I miss when we've gone and done something nice and fun, cultural, normally.
The
bike
first
ride.
Lager after.
Yes. You know what I mean? Kind of about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Sunny.
Yeah. And we're all still talking about the thing we've just done, having a bit of a, everyone's taking the piss out of everyone. You sit down, that beer there.
Yeah.
That's the one I miss, which arguably is every 18 months anyway.
Which is the beer where you just make that noise after the first sip, and it's like,
yeah,
as if you've earned it somehow.
Yeah.
By cycling the 3 miles.
It's like the best. Yeah, it's like you've never had a beer. So I do that bit, but that doesn't happen very often. So,
should we end this and carry testosterone over?
Yeah, we could do.
We could have a discussion now how we've been a bit stray.
Here, so we had an email from Tim. Thanks, Tim, for this. Hi, chaps. Like the stuff on resistant exercise. I'm 40 3/4. There you are. And also know from experience that picking up boxer shorts can have a negative effect on your back if you've stopped doing resistance training for a while. He said, I'm back on the resistance wagon now and feeling stronger already. Excellent. He also said, I'm not sure you mentioned that women should also be doing full-on resistance exercise and absolutely won't end up looking like She-Hulk, as I hear female friends commenting on this as a reason why they don't do weight training. We have touched on this.
And in the next episode, we're going to be announcing a pop-up podcast.
We are.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes, for that. But we did mention it.
Yeah.
And we very specifically, well, you did specifically said that, that is the perception that women who strength train are going to end up looking absolutely huge. And that's just an absolute fallacy.
Yeah.
Unless they went on that trip of eating 12 chickens a day and working out 3 times. You know what I mean?
And
you're going to get
testosterone.
Cool. Yeah.
But I'll discuss that later.
We'll discuss that in the next one. We've run a bit over, but that's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening. All links and references will be in our show notes. Please make sure you subscribe to us via your favourite podcasting app. And if you're enjoying this pod, then please do share it. Spread the love and tell a friend or foe or whoever you feel might benefit from having us two in their ears. That'd be really, really good of you. Give us a follow on Instagram and send us your feedback and questions via email, which is imfinecast@gmail.com. In the next episode, so we will be touching on testosterone because we haven't in this one. And we're also going to be looking at acceptance, so we're just going to throw a load of stuff in that we've been trying to
pick and mix.
So that's it. We'll see you then. Thanks.
Yeah. Take care all.